Hello, Artsies. I'd like to show you a second technique that you could use to create kind of a surrealist edit using the mirror shots that we did in the forest. And so we're going to load our images into using script, just like the first video. If you haven't watched the first video, I would suggest doing that first. I'm going to load the files into a stack and browse to select my two photos. Attempt to automatically align those source images. And there it is. Okay. And now I am going to quickly mask out the interior of the frame, just like we talked about in more detail on the first video. I'm going to apply that layer mask. Oops, played it on the wrong layer. Apply it on the top layer. There we go. Command I to invert. Okay, so now I've got this image that is the result of the first video. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually flatten this image so it collapses it down to a single image. And then I'm going to control click on this background layer and I'm going to duplicate the layer. So now I have two versions of the exact same layer. Okay, now with this background layer, copy, I'm going to hit Command T, and that brings up a transform window. Another way to get there is to go into the edit window, and there's transform, and there are the different transforms here. Command T is just a shortcut to get there. So now you can see there's a blue border around it with the white squares in the corners and the sides. I'm going to grab a corner. When I grab a corner and start to size it down, you'll see that it stays in the same ratio, doesn't distort the image, but we're resizing it to kind of sort of fit within this window. So you can see I'm kind of like looking for what the placement is, and I'm placing it over top. Okay, so then I'm going to double click, and that applies the transformation. All right, so for a second, I'm going to click on this eye to hide the layer for a second. I'm going to use the same tool I used before to make a selection inside the frame. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then close it off. All right, so I've got a selection inside here. I'm going to make my top layer visible again. And I'm going to hit Command Shift I. What that does is it selects everything except for that middle, and I'm going to hit delete. Okay, so now I've got this background copy that's exactly within the mirror, and that first layer is actually the most difficult because you have to do that cropping to the aspect ratio of the mirror. Now, when I continue this process, I'm going to then duplicate a layer, and I'm going to make another copy. Now, this second copy is already the aspect ratio of the mirror. So this next step is actually a little bit easier. So I'm going to hit Command D to deselect. Now I've got this second copy. I'm going to hit Command T to transform once again. Now this time you'll see that when I transform it down, I'm going to line it up with the corners of the frame of the mirror within the mirror. Double click. And now you can start to see the effect that's happening. Okay, so now I've got background. I'm going to copy number 2, and then repeat as many times as you can or you need to. So I'm going to duplicate the layer again. I hit Command T. I'm going to get that copy once again. I'm going to size it down until I get to the smaller mirror. Double click. Whoa, it just keeps on going. All right, so now I'm going to duplicate the layer. Command T to transform it down. Might need to zoom in to get more precision size. And that corner of the frame of the mirror, the other corner, double click.